Hey, this is Janelle, the relationship coach behind the Successful Invisible, and I want to welcome you to this episode of the Unlearning series. Today we're here to talk about dying alone myth, the dying alone myth, what it really says about men. So watch these clips and then I'll come in on the back end with some lessons to help you all be better daters.
Specifically older black men. Let's say 50 and over. Okay? We dying alone. All alone in these nursing homes and in these facilities where the only people we see are these nurses. The women got people coming to see them, or they're not even in there. Their families taking care of them. Two reasons that's going on. And this is real. Talk to anybody in the medical field or anybody that works with elders. This is real. Men dying lonely. Not just alone, lonely. Two reasons. You was a piss poor father. A piss poor father. Now your children don't give a fuck. Reason number two. You ain't never want to settle down. Just bouncing around, hitting all the ass you can. Hey, man. Is that me? What the fuck? All right. Did y'all get the post? Did y'all understand the post? Some of you did. As far as when I was talking about black men dying alone. Many of you wanted to compare to women being in. It wasn't a comparison video. This was directly a conversation for black males about our actions and direct results of our actions. It's not a comparison. I don't go back and forth, because when I have conversations about maybe something about women's actions or acting, I don't do the comparison anyway. So it shouldn't be a comparison, especially with the women, because as a single man, that's something that you choose, right? As a single black man, if you're over 50, that's something that you choose. You can find a good woman. I ain't saying you can find her right away, but you can find a good woman. Anyway, so let's get to the piss poor parenting. Really, nobody pushed back on that. Nobody said, well, I'm going to be single, but my kids know I'm a wonderful father. I'm good. My daughter said my daddy ain't never going. I'm good. I didn't hear any of that. Now, it might be something there, but nobody caught. And this is, in my opinion, one of the reasons why I think that is that we don't comment in that way. We don't want to bash the men that we hang with, the men in our families that we may work with, and you know they some shitty ass fathers, but we don't ever check them, or we don't ever bring up conversations concerning certain things. Me, I can't even hang with you if I know you don't care about your children. And I ain't gonna beef with you. I'm just gonna be away from you. But that's me. That's not most. And then third, y'all talking about y'all die alone. We're not even going to talk about how dumb that sounds if your family's around you. But you can have that. But I said dying. Dumbass, it might take you 5 years to die slow. That's a physical and a mental prison at a late stage in life. Right? You can't do anything. Ain't nobody coming to feed your mental. And guess what? You know it's a death sentence. That's what I'm talking about. That's misery. Y'all can talk all y'all want to talk. That's misery. Right? Peace.
If dying alone is supposed to scare black women, why are black men the ones rotting in empty nursing homes? Let's address the so-called dying alone threat black men love to wield. For years, they've warned black women that refusing to struggle, serve, or settle means ending up lonely, unloved, and forgotten. But facts don't lie. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, black men have the shortest life expectancy in America and the highest rates of dying unmarried and alone. By their 40s, 50s, and 60s, many are isolated, warehoused in nursing homes and long-term care facilities, abandoned by the very women and children they once dismissed, neglected, or abused. Research from the Institute for Family Studies confirms older men, especially Black men, are more likely to die in loneliness and isolation because they spent a lifetime burning bridges, chasing ego, and prioritizing conquest over connection. Meanwhile, single Black women outlive Black men and build robust networks, support systems, chosen families, and lifelong friendships. We are thriving alone because we learn to create joy, build community, and heal each other. The irony is, the dying alone warning says more about men's fears than women's reality. The outcome they threaten is the one most Black men already face, alone, overlooked, and filled with regret for never learning to nurture or cherish anyone but themselves. Black women, don't let a man scare you with his own fate. Build your life, your peace, and your legacy, and let the numbers speak for themselves.
So let's cover 3 main points that I really want to bring to light from these clips about Black men dying alone. Men dying alone, but specifically, I work with Black and Brown community because I am Black. So let's talk about this. The first point, emotional maturity has a track record, not just a talking point. Many older men, especially in their 40s, 50s, and beyond, are facing the emotional consequences of how they've lived, neglecting intimacy, fatherhood, and accountability. The dying alone, air quotes, crisis among Black men isn't random. It's the outcome of emotional isolation built over decades of prioritizing their ego, conquest, and self-interest over connection or anybody else's care. A man's relationship history with his children, family, and community reveals how he will engage emotionally with you. A poor father or absentee friend often becomes a poor partner, not because of age, but because he's never learned the discipline of relational care. So, as a relationship coach, what I want women to consider: 1, don't assume age equals wisdom. Ask about his emotional evolution, not just his career or stability. Number 2, observe whether he maintains healthy connections or exists in quiet estrangement. Number 3, if he's alone by choice but bitter about it, that's data, not destiny. Also, that's a red flag. Don't ignore it. Point number 2. Accountability is the real love language. A man who can't hold other men accountable rarely holds himself accountable in relationships. Let me say that again for the people in the back. A man who holds or who can't hold other men accountable rarely holds himself accountable in relationships. This is revealed about how many men avoid checking their peers for neglect or abuse and normalizing irresponsibility and emotional neglect of their children, of the people in their family, in their community, etc. And men see it all the time. So trust me, they know what it is. 2, if he can't call out poor behavior among other men, he's unlikely to stand up for you when it matters. That is key. He will allow another man to punk him and allow that man to disrespect you because he does not want to put himself in harm's way. And accountability signals integrity. It's how men build safety, not just romance. So, from a coaching perspective, what I want women to consider, or what women must consider, are the 3 following things. Number 1, pay attention to how he speaks about other men, especially fathers, exes, and friends. 2, notice if he excuses or justifies toxic behavior, or if he shows disgust and disapproval. 3, ask, how does he protect women in theory or in practice? His silence around male misconduct speaks volumes. And a great way to start these conversations is go to social media, go to things that are happening in social media or celebrities. For example, I know when Megan Thee Stallion was going through everything with Tory Lanez, a lot of men showed their asses and how they really feel about women and Black women in particularly, and the defense of Tory Lanez and his behavior and how he was justified and how her abuse was justified. A lot of people will tell you who they are when you're speaking about an example that isn't is closely related to them. They're more likely to lie when it's something close to home, but when it's celebrities, people will usually tell you exactly how they feel, and you need to be able to read between the lines to assess how this man feels about holding other men accountable or justifying men's behavior. All right, moving on. The third main point I wanted to bring up from out of the context of the videos is legacy and longevity. Choose connection, not companionship anxiety. So the dying alone narrative is projection, a reflection of men's regret, not women's reality. It is gaslighting on a very large scale that is very patriarchal in nature. Statistically, Black women outlive Black men, maintain deeper social ties, and build meaningful communities that sustain them through life. Men who weaponize loneliness to shame women reveal their fear of irrelevance, not their readiness for partnership. True partnership requires emotional legacy, not control, not performance, but reciprocal care. Reciprocity is a huge thing that a lot of men were never taught and don't understand. So, as a relationship coach, things that women must consider and that I'm going to highlight here are: number one, build a relationship vision rooted in peace, partnership, and mutual respect, not in fear of solitude, okay? Women need to have this in their minds. Number two, assess whether a man's lifestyle reflects emotional investment or avoidance. Has he learned to nurture anyone but himself? Hell, has he even learned to nurture himself properly? If he's living like a college student and has poor health and has a very ratty, poorly kept environment, that says a lot about how he feels about himself too. And a lot of men suffer from low self-esteem and they hate themselves. Number three, remember, a man's future peace depends on how he's loved by others and how he has loved others because of what he's shown them. Don't let him sell you a dying alone fear when his own life reflects it. Okay, so I hope this is helping ladies unpack some of the crap they have heard men say, and they can move differently now in their dating lives. Leave your